What is up? What is up? The video is uploading. You could probably hear it in the background. My laptop doing some work right now. If you are just seeing this right now and you're looking for a fantasy breakdown like my usuals for NBA, just watch the video in a second. It's going to come out. But for right now, I'm just chatting. So if you're watching this live, feel free to chat. I'll let some people hop in here. I'll answer any questions I can. Big 10-game slate, 20 teams on it. For the most part, a lot of things will probably be answered in the video until we get all this crazy news that's just going to mess up the entire day. Or maybe not mess it up, but just make it just unimaginably difficult, if that's even a word. Let's just make this work with the chat guy. But I can show you what I'm doing for this MLB stuff that's on the screen right now. I'll let people hop in here. Again, just chatting. All right. Hop in the chat. You got any questions? Let's hang. This video is probably going to take another 10-15 minutes to go up. So I'm here. Let's do it. This is what I'm working on for the MLB right now. For whoever is here. This is just a target offense sheet. I have projections. I have some things I'm trying to work through using a little bit of Rick Run Good along with some of my own stuff. And some other places as well. But this is like we have the target offense for the NBA. This is what I'm looking at right now for the MLB, including some more things. It'll be a quick look at pitchers, how they're doing this year. Some of the pitching stats that are important for pitchers. It'll be taking a quick look at the actual team, their hitting stats, just at a high level and a team level. Some Vegas stuff, the park factors, how much better or how much more a team scores in a specific park. Everybody knows Coors Field. And then the weather conditions. So this will just be for MLB. The weather conditions as well. So that's what MLB is looking like. Let's see if we can pull up we'll do this, hop that guy out of there, drag this guy over here. Ay. Cool. What's going on, Maine? Good morning. Yeah, the video's uploading right now. If you guys had any other questions, I'm happy to answer them here. You could see the injury list is a long list. It is a laundry list today. And that's why this 10-game slate right now looks, I don't even want to, I broke it down, but I'm not going to even look at a lineup or potentially playing the slate until a little later on. There's just so much news right now that matters. Will Chris Dunn definitely be sitting out? The Luka news. There's going to be way more news that comes out. Justice Winslow, to a little bit of an extent. Elfrid Payton is huge news. All that stuff is just what we already are waiting on. And then wait for more stuff. You already have the Boston Celtics just all up in the air with Jason Tatum and Al Horford, which matters a lot, actually, with no Kyrie. I'm playing Giannis and Harden in cash tonight. Wow, Pablo. I don't know what lineup construction looks like. I know that Ian Clark is value right now as long as Payton is out at his price point against the Pelicans. I don't know where else you're getting value to pay up for the two 1100 guys. DFS 300 says Michael Carter Williams was a smash. Yeah, he played great yesterday. Got the time, got some blowout run, I believe, but he was playing great before that. Yeah. What's going on, Evan? Good morning, Sal. Should have stuck with Nurkic last night. Had him in 4 out of 8. Let's get it. Yeah. Nurkic was absolutely incredible last night. 72 points, overtime game. If you stack that game just in general, and the main thing, you did really well with the Lillard, with Russell playing extremely well. You had value in Harkless and Carroll getting there for the most part. Yeah, it's a good spot for sure. Yeah, we're just looking at a ton of injuries today. The video's up. I just have to go and edit it. Probably stay on for a couple more minutes, so feel free. Answer any questions or ask any questions. I could answer them. Yeah. Live streaming Wednesday and Thursday this week, and probably one of the weekend days, whatever the schedule says, Saturday, potentially Sunday as well. Don't mind me. 3 starters will be out for the Bulls. That's where I'm getting my value from. Yeah, that's fair. I agree. I mean, I think Laurie's the best value play there at 6,700. I know you have Ryan Arcidiacono and Shaq Harrison, but they're both dusts, like in my book. But if you're getting up to Giannis and Harden, who both have 80 to 90 point ceilings, that's what you have to have hit, right? I don't know what lineup construction looks like. I don't know if it's stars and scrubs. With 10 games and a lot of value, I'm sure that stars and scrubs is going to become very viable. Right now, I think that Ian Clark is the best value if Elfrid Payton's out. I don't think Ryan Arcidiacono is a good play, but in terms of needing value at 3,800, it's fine. I don't think Shaq Harrison is a good play. At his price point now, 4,400 for a guy, even with Levine out, it's going to be hard pressed to get 30 out of him. And in a tournament, if a guy's $4,400, I need 35. It's for me. I need 35 out of a guy like that. Low drop on FanDuel. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh yeah, on FanDuel that's a lot more fun. I don't know what the pricing looks like on FanDuel. I think Troy Brown also, though, is another dust piece that probably doesn't go for over 22 fantasy points today. I mean, we haven't really seen that. He's just not involved in the offense. I think he's great in terms of his talent and his raw potential moving forward, but for DFS, you have, and this game is nice, like the pace of spot with the Lakers would be the best game to target on any other slate if this New Orleans-Atlanta game wasn't on this slate. But I think that Bradley Beal is going to be taking a lot of the usage, and then when you have Portis and Bryant in the starting lineup, it's very hard for a guy like Brown to get hits. He's not going to get any rebounds with those two giants in there. He's not going to get a ton of shots with Bradley Beal in there playing every single minute pretty much alongside of him. And then you're going to have Thomas Satoransky in a very favorable matchup getting his today as well. It's just hard for me to really see Troy Brown doing much in a decent matchup. Don't get me wrong. It's just hard for me to really see that. But again, I know these guys aren't the priorities. They're just who gets in your lineup in terms of value. I just think right now, the value that's out there, at least the ones that are being pointed to in Chicago and Troy Brown, we already know what we're getting out of them. If the game stays in regulation, you're very rarely touching 30 points, which out of these guys where their prices are now, I need 30 points. 3,600 and 3,500 on FD. Yeah, that's nice then. Yeah, that's fine for a drop for sure. I mean, if you're playing both of them and hoping that one gets to 30, that's more than fine for a drop. Oh, 23 of you. I'm just sitting here. Can't believe you guys are watching me. Ask me any questions. The video is up. I just got to edit it. So if you guys just want me to edit it and post it, it'll be up in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes if I do that. But I'm here to answer any questions. What about Markkanen and Randall, power forward on FanDuel? It's amazing that 5x value is shit anymore. Yeah, no, John, I've been talking about this a lot. 5x means nothing to me. It's nice in the NFL. Doesn't really matter too much in baseball, like at all. In the NBA, I know that 5x is the number that everybody gets just feeling great about. Look, the game in general, the pace in the NBA and the scoring, these games are so high. You have 103 almost average pace in the NBA. It used to be 100. That's a huge bump in a few years. You have a game tonight projected for 109 pace. The thing is, the scoring is way high now, and because of that, 5x value isn't going to win you anything anymore. If you're looking on DraftKings, $50,000 salary, if you 5x on average, you have 250 fantasy points. You're going to lose every single night besides maybe one out of every few months. You're going to lose. You're not going to cash. 6x value would get you to 300, and that's where you need to be now. You need 6x value over 5x, but I think both of those are faulty. But I'd say closer to 6x, even for cash. Like 300 points is what you need now. 4x plus 10 is what I use as of right now for my cash lineup builds. 6x at a very minimum, but it's not a clear-cut answer, right? You're not looking at every price range and saying, oh, I need 6x out of my 3K guy. You get 6x out of your 3K guy, he gets you 18 points. That's usually fine because you're probably getting up somewhere else. But in a tournament, if you have a guy sitting there with 18 points, it's very likely that somebody else outdid you in some other part. Like, if I'm paying $4,000 for somebody, I'm not feeling happy with 20 points out of them in a tournament or even in cash. for $4,000. There's a big difference between 3,000 and 4,000 because you can't get up to another high price stud with that extra 1,000 as much being spent on a $4,000 player. If somebody's $4,000, I need 26 points out of them, 4x plus 10 in cash to feel comfortable. And that's pretty much likely or the same case for tournaments. I'm not getting there with 20 to 25 points in a tournament from a 4K player on most nights. Scored 337 last night and hardly cashed. Need 6x. You called it. No defense in the NBA. Yeah, there's no defense in the NBA. The teams are just playing way faster, like insanely faster. That's the biggest thing. The pace difference is the biggest thing. It's just leading to more overall points for fantasy and real life. 6x is what you need at a very minimum, I believe. 337, though, did you play cash or tournaments? If you were playing cash last night and scored 337, I'm sure you won a good amount of money. If you're just playing tournaments, then yeah, on a night like last night when the highest total and probably on a 4-game slate, the highest stack game goes into overtime and the chalkiest players get theirs in terms of Lillard and Nurkic, yeah, it's going to be hard to cash with anything below like a 350 because people out of those 2 players alone were getting 140. And they were probably one of the highest stacks. I scored 352 average in 20s last night. I paid out $40. Yeah, Evan, that's the thing. On a 4-game slate, you need to score high. Like your 350 last night on a normal night is probably 320. And a 320 score on a 10-game slate where the best game on the slate doesn't go into overtime that's highly stacked. When you score 320, you're just happy getting any sort of profit or a decent profit, or even 310 last night because that game was only a 4-game slate. So looking at it and thinking that scoring 350 is relative to every other night when you score 350, it's not. Yesterday was a 4-game slate. The game went into overtime that everybody stacked. It's going to be higher scores. Like you had the potential, not you personally, like everybody had the potential to get those same plays and to get in the 370s and make a better profit. Like last night was a high-scoring night. The fact that you scored 350 on a high-scoring night does not mean that like it means that you just didn't have as good of a lineup. It doesn't mean that you're like entitled to any more winnings. Like everybody always says that. They say, I scored 315 today and didn't cash. It sucks, but like everybody else was playing in the same exact field. It's not like your lineup just somehow missed all the cuts for some random reason. It's because it was a higher scoring night. And you had that potential to soak up those higher scoring players. And they're higher scoring because they're more chalky. That's why the nights are higher scoring, because the guys who are owned more are scoring more points, so more lineups are getting more points. Usually have to hit around 380 to get paid in a tourney. On the high-scoring nights, yeah. But there's a good amount of nights where 360s win them. Do you consider playing a smaller 3-game slate increases your chances to win comparing with playing a 10-game slate? No, I'd say the exact opposite. I think 10-game slates have a way higher edge than a 3-game slate. 3-game slate, everybody's picking from the same player pool. I can get my little brother who doesn't follow this at all for the most part, and he could just pick out all the studs on a 3-game slate, factor them in with random value who's been producing well, and he has a decent shot at winning as long as he keeps up with relatively with the injury news. On a 10-game slate, you have to make a lot more decisions. The research, the NBA Wowie type stuff, the projections, you have a wider look at a bunch of different players. You could pivot off of other values much easier. On a 3-game slate, it's very hard to pivot off of chalk because there's just no other players on the slate. On a 10-game slate, you usually have 5 to 7 other options to pivot off of a chalky 5K guy who seems shaky. Well, I can pick out of a hat of all of these players who have just as much value. So I think the bigger the slate, the better the edge, in my opinion, just because also most casual people will look at it and go, I have no idea what to do, or will say, oh, wow, 10-game slate, I'm not even going to play tonight. Whatever it might be, there's just less effort put in compared to a 3-game slate where it's just super easy because you're really picking between a player pool of like 15 guys compared to 30 to 40 guys on a 10-game slate. Less than 10 games left. These guys are thinking about Cabo. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm kind of like over the NBA regular season for DFS. We're going to be getting a slate like this. Just wait. It's going to blow up. We already have news we're waiting on, and there's more to come. Like I imagine there will be way more to come because there's going to be teams that are clinching playoff spots and stuck into their position that just don't care. They're going to be resting starters, late scratching, playing random who knows who guys. And it's just going to be really hard to get a key or a feel for minutes, which are the biggest thing in the NBA in terms of making projections, and rotations in general, which go along with minutes. End of the year is going to get just really, really foggy and really, really messy. I was wondering the same thing, Adrian. Yeah, I'd say, John, for your question, it's bigger slates for me. I think it's way easier if you're putting the effort in, it is way easier. And keeping up with the news, like I'm sure many of you already are if you're in this stream, if you're putting the effort in, the bigger the slate, the better for me. I think that most ideal slates are just 8, around 7 or 8. I personally like 6-game slates. But on a 3-game slate, it's much more variant. So if you pick one player that does bad, you're not winning money. And if you don't have the one player who goes for 50 points, you're likely not winning money if he has any ownership on him, which he probably does because it's a 3-game slate. I'd say 10-game slate, ownership becomes less important for the most part, and just getting the biggest raw score totals is what matters there. Projections help a lot with that. So, yeah, I think the bigger the slate, the bigger the edge if you're paying attention. I think I need to switch to cash. I throw my money away every night in a tournament. Yeah, John, that's the exact thing that you should be doing, switching to cash. I think that, look, tournaments, this is the thing. Where is the money coming from that you're using for DFS? Are you putting aside $100 a week to play DFS and you want to try and hit a $100,000 jackpot? Then that's fine. Play tournaments. Just know that like you're already putting that $100 away thinking that you're going to lose it, which is probably a bad way to think. But if you're thinking, I want to just take my shot with this $100 instead of playing the lottery, I'll have fun, I'll use some skill and try and win it, then play tournaments all you want. If you're continuing to put your savings into this and you're trying to hit a 100K jackpot, it's probably not going to happen, just like the $100 won't, but at least you're budgeting that. If you want to actually build a bankroll, start with $100, build it up over the year to whatever it might be. It'll be really hard to build $100 to anything, but if you get a couple winning nights in a row or one nice little single entry win, you can do it. But if you're starting with $1,000, you can build your cash bankroll up. You can maybe double that in cash and in single entries and in the 25-cent jukebox if you have a good year, if you get hot and just play smart with it. But then you could take your shots with that bankroll, and instead of losing your own personal money that you're saving up on the side, you already are just pulling from your bankroll by only using 5%, 10% of it a night at the very most in tournaments. That's why bankroll management matters. Nobody is a very profitable tournament winner in terms of the amount of entries. Not even Awesemo, not even the top guys. They're just entering so many times that it just takes one hit in a tournament that night to make up for and way more what they're putting in. Nobody's winning 50 to 60% in their tournament entries, at least long term. It's because they're tournaments, and if you get your player pool wrong on a single night, you won't win anything. You'll be winning 20% back, 30% back. Maybe they are. I just don't think so. In cash, if you're a very good cash player, you're approaching 60% in wins. Like, you're not going to win every single night. It's just not going to happen. There's just so much variance in the sport. Although NBA has the least variance, there's still variance. Like, a guy can get ejected like Rashawn Holmes last night and bust some of your lineups. Right here. John, I love cash, but there are a lot of very good players in double-ups compared to, say, a year ago. Yeah, John, there's a lot of better players. What levels are you playing at is what I would say. Go below the $5 level. If you're below the $5 level, pros can't even see those. They can't enter them. They can't even see the $1, $2, $3, either single entry tournaments, just head-to-heads, 50-50s. That's where I'd go. If you're trying to build a bankroll, it's head-to-heads and 50-50s for me. Double-ups I don't think are great for building your bankroll. You have to win at a much larger clip, and usually that's harder to do. Yeah. I scored 325 last night. Cashed something, but nothing big. Yeah, I was right around that range as well. It's a high-scoring night, and it just sucks when you don't have the one guy who just goes ballistic that everybody else didn't have. All right, gang, I think I'm going to go and upload this video. It's 8:56. I can get it up by 9, and that'd be great. Hit this video with a like. There's going to be people coming in here later on commenting on it, like, why aren't you answering me and stuff. They think it's live, like, later in the day. That's why I like to give the disclaimer early on that this is being shot at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern time. Oh, I need food. I need food. Any more questions to the 36 of you that are in here? What's going on, everybody? Happy to answer whatever you want. Hop into Discord if you're one of the 36 people that are watching this, or maybe on a replay and for some reason you're still watching this. Hop into Discord. People chatting already. What is there in here? 21 people live right now. 369, 368 is the amount of people in here. Anybody play MLB DFS? Anybody play MLB DFS? I can just start uploading this while you guys are in here. What's going on, Coach? Yeah, I'm just going to start uploading this, and I could answer questions as I do it. Why not? Draftkings, NBA. What is this? Tuesday, 3/26 picks. DFS, NBA picks strategy. Get your SEO in there, gang. Yeah, ask any questions. I'm still watching. I'm just trying to upload this video at the same time, so everybody can watch that one. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. No. Hit up the iCloud. What's today? We got a Tuesday, jammy, 3/26. Bang, copy all that. Bang. What's going on, Dale? How you doing? Save, bang, insert some of the SEO tags. Any questions? I'll show again for the people that just got in here. I don't know, is anybody in here? Hop in the comments. How many Sharks cashed last night? All of them, LOL, says Anthony. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they did. It was a 4-game slate, and there was obvious chalk plays. Tyler Dorsey, Delon Wright, Nurkic, Joe Val, all these guys that were obvious chalk. And if anybody got onto Paul George, you naturally became a very good lineup because you probably landed on a Derek Favors. You were already on Nurkic and Joe Val and probably Lillard at that point. So, yeah, I mean, Sharks, I call them Sharps. I think they are Sharps. I know a lot of people like to say Sharks. So you said just play 50-50, no tournaments? No. It's a preference thing. Like, cash is 50-50 in head-to-heads. That's where you will win more often than not. Obviously, tournaments are where the top dollar is. But if you're trying to build a bankroll and still play tournaments, then playing cash, 50-50s in head-to-heads, with the majority of your bankroll, 80%. And look, this is like very cliche, 80% of your bankroll into cash games each night, or 10% of your bankroll being used each night, and then 8% of that, which would be 80% of the 10 if you're counting as 100, into cash games, and then the other 2 into tournaments. So just a couple of tournament shots each night, and then hoping that your cash wins give you profit along with shots to take in the tournaments. That's like a very gradual, but still giving yourself a shot to win. And pretty much it just lets you continue to play DFS with the chances of hitting, because you're going to win way more in cash, especially if you're putting effort in. The NBA is the hardest sport to win, I would say, just because people are so competitive. On a night in and night out basis, people know what they're doing way more than NFL, which is a lot of casual players just putting in the studs or who had the best game last week, which we know is how you lose. NBA, people are keeping up with it every single night. They know this stuff. It's by far the hardest. Even the casuals are almost sharps compared to the NBA. But no, it's all about building your bankroll if you want to survive and you're starting low. Just throwing $100 a night into tournaments, you're going to lose most nights, and then you're going to just continue to lose. You need to hit a top prize to just stay afloat, and then likely you'll start to put it back into tournaments and lose it all. So cash is just the best way to build a bankroll, I believe. I think that if you're mass entering and you have the ability to put in 150 lineups and you know how to use a tool, then yeah, play some tournaments if you have the money to put into it. Put $75 into the 50-cent little tournament that you can max out with 150 entries, and try and learn how to do MME, mass multi-entry. Otherwise, if you're just throwing 1 to 2 lineups in these max entry tournaments, you're never going to win. You might be the one person a season or 2 to 3 persons a season that really knocks down a huge prize playing one lineup in the big tournaments. How about stacking guards and looking for cheap big men tonight? Yeah, Joe, I haven't looked at the slate, to be honest, and let me just finish up doing this. I mean, I know there's some guards in phenomenal spots. I'm just going to do this, try and do this while typing. I know there's some guards in phenomenal spots. I mean, you have against the Lakers, and Atlanta's obviously on the slate. It's just, for me, not building yet, so I don't know. If you're not in our league, get in our league down below for DraftKings. I'm playing somebody head-to-head tonight. They won the tournament yesterday, and if they win, they will get free projections. Pretty cool. But yeah, get in there. There's just, I mean, there's a free league every single day, and then there's paid ones as well. And there's like a little rankings and stuff, so it just stays competitive. It's pretty cool. All right, let's finish this writing off. So let's just do. What are we at? 485. That's gonna be too much. Fuck it. We're done. What up, Lakers Pulse? What's up, GOAT? Yeah, I'm just uploading this video now, so if anybody's hopping in now, we're just talking just random questions, strategy, bankroll, anything really. But the video is about to be up in like 2 seconds. Just got to enable monetization. How do you build a tournament lineup? I think that's my problem. You build a tournament lineup, so what are you entering? I would enter single entries. I'm being completely honest with you. If you're not somebody who can enter a lot of lineups or has a lot of money to literally burn, don't enter the big $15 to win 100K prize tonight, because you're not going to win the 100K prize. You're probably not even going to place close if you're just entering one lineup on majority of nights. Enter single entries because people can't enter 150 lineups and literally outweigh you. If you're in a 151 person tournament and somebody enters 150 lineups and you're entering one, how often do you think you're going to win? Now look, I know that that's not what these big tournaments are, because there's a ton of people only entering one, so it kind of outweighs it. But at the same point, I'd be very interested to see how many 150 entries there are compared to the one people entries, because that's pretty much what you're going up against. People who know how to make 150 lineups have won continuously to your one lineup. So do single entry, and then the way that I would build a tournament lineup is literally make the best cash lineup you can. Get the highest, the best value, the best total guys in terms of raw points for their price. Make the best lineup you can that has upside, and then take one or two of those players that you're like, ooh, I don't really know about this player tonight. Seems kind of risky. Maybe that was TJ McConnell for some of you last night. Although he was super cheap, it's hard to ignore those guys most nights. But make the best lineup that you possibly can, and then pivot in 1 to 2 spots. Keep the best chalk guys, because in the NBA, you will win with 6 to 7 chalk guys on most nights. It's making that one pivot to lower own Paul George like last night, or whoever it might have been. So that's how I would approach it. How long is this video? 28 minutes. I get people in here saying that they don't like me putting in these commercials. I mean, they literally take 5 seconds, and they give me something to pay my rent. I make these videos. The amount of time that I put in is like 3 hours a day for these videos, and I will be getting paid $20 a day. I'm getting paid minimum wage to make these videos. I love doing it, but like, just wait a couple seconds to skip the video, to skip the commercial if it really bugs you that much. And we're about to publish this bad boy. You just got the behind the scenes editing of the video. Not much here. What's going on, John? How you doing? The video is up. The actual video for today is up. It is 9:05. I like getting them out early. Reaches more people, or at least a couple more people, I think. 36 you in here. What's going on? Yeah, we've been live for a little bit longer than I thought. 3,365 people. Awesome. Let's show some of this baseball stuff we're working on. Thanks for everything, Sal. Have a great day and good luck tonight. Thanks, Joe. You as well. This is the baseball stuff. I don't know if you guys play baseball, if you were in here earlier. Target offense sheet, probably going to add 1 or 2 things to it in terms of just stats. Obviously, adding and filling in these pitcher stats going to make it a little nicer too. But this is what I'm looking at right now for opening day, getting this out for some of the videos. We just have a bunch of just different formulas and stuff in here. You got to finish the projections, but this is pretty much what they'll look like. Look, projections for baseball are not nearly as needed as the NBA. You could have a projection system in the NBA, plug in the best players, and win on a good amount of the nights. Baseball is different, especially in cash compared to tournaments. There's just totally different approaches. You have to have totally different approaches. So projections are nice to look at just in terms of who's favorable today at a high glance and value. But usually if it's stack-oriented for GPPs, they don't matter as much. But I do think that they're still nice to have, along with all this other information that is in one spot that I'll be having available. Why does it always seem that I do better in tournaments when I pay up for bigs? I use some chalk pivots and pay up on some guards. Oh, I mean bigs in general score the most points. Let's look at the target offense sheet just to show you this. My target offense sheet. Bigs in general score the most points. I mean, look at the points given up to the shooting guard position. The most points given up to the shooting guard position is around 45. The least points on today's slate giving up to the center position is Miami, 46. So the least is still bigger than the most for shooting guards. And 46 is an extremely low number. Let's look at the second lowest. Second lowest is 51. So on most nights, 51 points is the least points given up to the center position compared to on every other position in the high 40s being the most. It's because centers score the most. That's why I like getting 4 centers in my lineups on most nights if I can. Last night, it was tough because not a lot of them were power forward eligible. Tonight, you have guys who are centers who are power forward eligible. Thomas Bryant, I believe, is still power forward eligible. Dwayne Dedmon, both of these guys in very good spots, both power forward eligible. And then you clearly have more from there, right? You have LaMarcus Aldridge, whether you're starting at the 4 or the 5, gets 5 minutes. You have Lauri Markkanen, who is a power forward, but it's going to get 5 minutes. You have Al Horford, if he plays today at a nice price. He's a 5 who is power forward eligible. So getting bigs in your lineup, they have just, in general, bigger ceilings and easier ways to hit value. And they're usually priced like that, but it's because they're closer to the rim. They're going to have 1, easy shots, 2, putback opportunities, 3, easier rebounds. It's just very easy for them to get that 1.25 rebound bonus and double-double bonus, and block upside, things like that. So, yeah, I would say when you get bigs in your lineups, and I would like to analyze it maybe at the end of the year, the winning lineups, how many had like 3 to 4 centers in their lineups, or at least 2, because I'd imagine that's what runs it. If you're putting shooting guards in your utility spot and they're pure shooting guards, you're losing most nights. Same thing probably for small forwards. You're losing most nights. You're the truth, Sal. Ever since I started rocking with you, my DFS game is elevated. That means a lot. Thank you, RH or RHA. I don't know if that's raw, but thank you so much. Yeah, I'm just doing this. I started doing it for fun. I got a little bit more in depth. Believe it or not, I never played NBA DFS until this year. I looked a lot into it, read some books, watched some streams, learned it, tested it, and it's fun. And I like doing this. Every single day, it's a lot of work, but it is fun and hopefully something that will pay off. People have noticed us, and that's thanks to all of you guys, so I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to MLB. I'm not sure how much MLB I will play because I know it's very stacks oriented, and in big, maybe single entries, I'll be mainly playing. Cash, I know that it's very murky in terms of finding those value, just top of the order guys, maybe stacks with the solidified pitchers to get those real points in MLB. That's at least what it seems like. I've never really been a big MLB player. And then in tournaments, it's just all stacks. It's finding the value pitchers that allow you to get the big stack guys in your lineup, being able to mentally get off of some of the higher stacks for better opportunities and ownership on those stacks. So single entries will probably be where I live, at least to start the MLB season. But yeah, I will also be having a target offense sheet and database / projections for that as well. Dumb moment for me. Makes total sense. Being a former college and pro athlete. Thanks. Yeah, Doug. Would you play football or basketball, I'm assuming? Yeah, they just score more points. Like on a night in and night out basis, per 36, per 48. Centers just score more points. At least in fantasy. Dude, I suck at baseball DFS. What about the WNBA? Gilbert, that's a great question. I'm going to be jumping into WNBA. Like, baseball is going to be probably my bridge until the real sport of the summer, the WNBA, starts. I'm being dead serious. I hear there's upside there. It's obviously lower buy or lower winnings and things like that for tournaments. Definitely appreciate the info, Sal, Doug. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, Gilbert brings up the WNBA. I've never played the WNBA yet, but I've heard great things in terms of there's just not a lot of ways to if you're not paying close attention, you won't win. People are scratched without entering any news updates, so making sure to try and find all the information you can on Twitter, and there's really no outlets for WNBA is tough. So just keeping up with it like the NBA is a way to be profitable. And most people, though, I believe playing the WNBA DFS are probably very smart, because why else would you be playing WNBA DFS? But I'm excited for WNBA DFS, believe it or not, at least for cash games. Yeah, you play basketball, nice. Yeah, that's what I figured. Let me answer this text. Sal, James Harden, Greek Cat. Which two would you roster together, and could you possibly roster three? Well, rostering three, I'd say no. They're all like 11K on average. If you average all three of their salaries, it's probably above 11K, barely. Yeah, Will Cook. I don't know if you just hopped in, but I have no idea. Like, I don't know which plays are the better plays there. I personally, if you watch the video early on, I like LeBron just because he's priced. People think he's on a minutes limit. LeBron James is not on a minutes limit. He's played 35 plus the last 3 games. He's only been below 32, the top of that minutes limit, once. He's not on a minutes limit. That was all coach speak that lasted for 1 game, literally, when he played 29 minutes the first game. And he's $10,200 in the second pace, second highest total game, which on the most nights is the highest, 233.5 total. You can see right here, 107 pace. I like LeBron, but in terms of Giannis, Harden, I've heard people saying you could fit both of them. I don't know where the value is coming from yet. I haven't looked into the slate. I know a good amount where the value is coming from early on. I don't think it's a viable value. Ryan Archie-Diacono, Shaq Harrison, they're not the value types of plays that I'm looking to play on most nights. But look, if it gets you to Harden and Giannis and you have other decent plays, then sure. I think Harden and Giannis would be the way to go. I do like Cat, though, against the Clippers. But I don't know. I really don't know where to go. You definitely can't play all 3. And if you're playing all 3, you're playing like 5 3K guys, which is just dreadful. Because the thing when you're playing 2 big studs, and this is something that I had my best night on, finishing 6th in the big tournament like a month and a half ago, was playing 2 big studs. I played Giannis and Towns that night because there was value. Instead of paying all the way up for like $1,300 Harden that night, I played the guys who were around the mid-10 range. And I want to look into playing 2 big studs, how often that works, because I've been seeing it work a lot. On a 10-game slate, I think it can be very viable if your value hits. But the thing is, you need your value to hit, and then you need them to have their ceiling games, which both of them having their ceiling games on the same night is just not likely. You need them to both have their 65 plus to closer to 80-point nights, and you also need the value to get you at least, if it's 4K player, at least 25 points, hopefully more. Especially on a 10-game slate where other players are probably doing that same thing. You probably need 30 points out of your value. So yeah, I don't think playing all 3 of them is viable. Playing both of them is definitely viable. It's just a matter of, is your value plays actually good? I'm going to answer those questions. Hold on, I'm just finishing a text. You think WNBA would be worth it? Thanks to Sal, knowledge is being key in all of this, and thanks you've given so much. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Hey, I love doing this. And I want to keep doing this. And I would like to keep doing this and also work for a company, but be allowed to do this at the same time. I just like interacting with you guys. I like just kind of being able to have my own schedule in terms of putting up my own content, things like that. I've never played WNBA. Like, I'll put that out there. But I know that there's a lot of sharp people, Adam Levitan being one of the big ones, that play WNBA and have a lot of success in it because people have no idea what they're doing. They approach it like the NBA maybe, but there's just not as much information out there on it. So you really have to put in the work, and people don't like putting in that extra effort. I'm going to try WNBA for sure. I'm definitely going to do it. I just like basketball in general. I probably won't watch many games, but I'll definitely keep up on it. Oh, I need water. This slate is going to be 400-plus point lineup, so in order to hit the cash line, will the value have to be almost high upside with a safe floor? I mean, that's what you want every night. You want high upside with a safe floor in value every single night. So in order to hit the cash line, yeah, I mean, I think I want that every single night. I want a safer floor with a big upside. WNBA is fun and easier to win, but the cash outs are lower. Yeah, that's what I figured. I mean, in tournaments, the cash outs have to be lower. There's just not enough drive for it or attention. But I've never played it, so I have no idea like how easy it is personally. Yo, what's going on, Sean? Got to stay up on your day-to-day news, of course, which goes for all sports. Yeah, definitely. It's just harder in the WNBA to stay up on that because there's just way less reporting. There's like 10 beat writers, if not more, for each NBA team. Is there even 2 for the WNBA teams? Like, they don't have injury reporting that comes out often. A girl will be late scratched, and you didn't even know all night that she was out, unless you're watching the game. Does Wiggins still kill the Clippers? He used to be Money in the Bank versus the Clippers. Not sure if it's the same way. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I have no idea. Like, I haven't done any involved research, I would say. Is the video up? Has anybody tried watching the video? I don't know if I could post one while live streaming. I think it went up. to refresh this and look. We got 1 like, so yeah, it's just not updating the views, so I think it's up there. This is so much good value on the slate today. With what is available in this slate, I can't see a scenario where one would need anyone over 10K or under 5K. So you don't think anybody needs anybody over 10K or under 5K, Randy, but you think there's a lot of good value. So you think the mid-range is where the value lies. I think that's fair. I think that LeBron at 10-2 is very interesting. I think that Towns at 10-7 is very interesting. And if you're going to get a ton of very good value, yeah, getting up to Harden and Giannis, if it's going to be contrarian, makes a lot of sense. Look, Ian Clark right now, if Elfrid Payton's out, is $3,600. He's going to see 32 minutes, if not more, against this Hawks team in the fastest pace game, one of the fastest pace, if not the fastest pace game on the entire year, a 240 total. That $3,600 chalk is something that I'll eat all day. And if that gets me up to LeBron, Towns, or whoever I want to get up to, I'm fine with that. Thanks, Gilbert. What's up? That's awesome. Nice. Yeah, so when MLB starts, the plan is to continue to do NBA and MLB at the same time. Ideally, I could literally do an NBA stream, then restart the thing and do an MLB stream, not have to edit a single video, and I'd be done in pretty much the same amount of time as doing one video. The only problem is with YouTube, live streams don't get as much reach. They just don't archive better. It's just not as favorable, so I just wouldn't reach as many people, but that might be the plan just in terms of time. And then on some nights, you guys should go follow right now, or at least hit him with a subscribe. I want to make sure I get his name right. Let me just look on my DMs. He's going to be helping with MLB maybe once or twice a week. He's literally just going to make a video for the channel, and I'm going to upload it through me, and he'll just get to shout out and just promote his own channel, but also help me at least a couple times a week, because when the NBA's on, it's just double the amount of content that I'm going to have to be putting out for these major sports, which is something that I'm actually really looking forward to doing. But at the same time, with finals coming up and just things like that, it'll be a little bit tougher. Let's see here. His name is Chris Pennell, Chris, and then space Pennell. He makes NASCAR content. He's going to be making MLB content for DFS. Approaches it in a very similar way to me in terms of in his videos using a spreadsheet, showing you data, not just giving you picks without any information behind them. Things like that. Yeah. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to wrap up and go find some food. Whew. All right, gang. That's probably it on my end. I need a Team DFS Assist t-shirt. Hey, we want merch now. We want merch now. Yeah, so here's the thing. I would like to just turn the DFS Assist site, which is right now my blog, if anybody's ever been there, that I made. We'll pay $15 for it. Get them made. We might have to do the merch. Should I get any sayings on them? This is something that I'm definitely looking into. But yeah, making the DFS Assist site into where the projections are hosted, so they're not on Patreon, which Patreon has been very good now, actually, since I figured out how to use it, or better. And yeah, I would like to just get the projections up on there, maybe put a blog or something on there, some podcasts, whatever it might be. I just got to figure out how to turn WordPress into a very functional site that I want it to work for. I have a Wix blog, and Wix is just not the greatest. So yeah, if anybody has good insights with WordPress and literally knows exactly what I'm talking about, turning my website into a spot that could host Excel-type documents for projections, as well as articles and things like that, let me know how to do it on WordPress. I could probably figure out if I look into it for like 2 hours, but have not had that time yet. $3,600 point guard versus Atlanta does actually sound good. Yeah, it sounds great. Look, if Peyton's out, there's nobody else there. They might give Frank Jackson the start at point guard, but I don't know then who starts at shooting guard. Yeah, that's exactly where it's going to go. Keep in mind, there's still no Tim Frazier. There's literally no other point guards on the roster with Drew Holiday out and potentially Elfrid Payton being out. It's Frank Jackson and Ian Clark. Ian Clark will see 30 minutes in that game. Big slates can be a headache to keep up with because there's so much news. I do better in 4 to 6 game slates, in my opinion. Yeah, I think I like big slates better because that exact same reason, because there's so much news and people don't know and they won't make the right decision, especially late when there's like 10 things in the last hour that happen. They won't be able to make the right switches. I like that. I think that's where I find my own edge personally, and that's why I won't be making any lineups until later on today. I'll look at salaries, I'll look at research, I'll look at updated points per minutes, things like that, but nothing crazy. Big slates can be money if you're really digging the low percentage value. That too. Like the percentages on ownership are going to be spread out completely, but you'll find guys that get 1% ownership. Like Lou Williams, that's the night that I did very well. Lou Williams was 1% owned when he dropped a 65-point triple-double. You'll find guys like that who have high upside, who are 1% owned, and who are very viable for tournaments. And that's where you could win your money if they have their ceiling game. Luis Almonte says, I can hit you up with the WordPress, or I can help you with the WordPress. Hit me up. Yeah, if you do you have Twitter? Twitter, if you're in the Discord, hit me up somewhere so we could chat about that. I am very, like, I could figure that stuff out. It would just take, just like anything else, right? Like, I could figure out how to do my taxes, but it would take a lot of time to figure it out and then to actually do it. If somebody who knows how to do it can help me with it, I'd much prefer that expert, right? So, yeah, Luis, hit me up for sure. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Like, just send me a message, Sal Vetri, on every single platform. That would be much appreciated. Because all I really need to do is get a layout, make it look somewhat nice, which doesn't take that much time, I don't think, especially I like know graphics and stuff. There's a quote, I know graphics and stuff. But then it's just a matter of putting like a paywall in and making sure that things are behind it for the projections and making sure the projections are hosted properly so that I could edit them every single day. Things like that is what I need at least help with, and sure, a bunch of YouTube videos can probably help me, but it might take a few weeks to perfect instead of a few days if somebody who knows how to do it can help. I hit you up on Discord. Perfect. I will get in the Discord after this stream and I'll chat with you. I appreciate that. If you know what I'm talking about and you know how to do that, yeah, let's get it done, because if I can just get a website hosted for the projection so it's all in one place instead of this stuff's on Patreon, this stuff's on YouTube or whatever, getting it on a website, just one, way more official, people feel more comfortable with it. Two, easier for me, everything in one place, and it's just nicer to have. Merch can be a thing. I haven't had anybody ask about merch, but yeah, DFS Assist. I might change the name. Everybody's going with this DFS whatever, but it makes sense. All right. I think that's it. 48-minute little stream. It was only going to be 10 minutes while the video uploaded, but you guys were patient and girls with me editing the main video while I did this, so thank you. Yeah, so the live stream schedule is up. Last night had to cancel. Pretty much just wasn't feeling good. Worked all day long in terms of this stuff, in terms of have a 20-page paper due in a week. And it was like 5 o'clock. Hadn't even looked at DFS stuff since like the morning for the most part, outside of the news. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting on this stream in an hour. I'm dead. I was falling asleep. But I will be home for opening day, watch baseball with the dad. We'll be doing a live before lock type show, locked and loaded, if you will, Wednesday night and Thursday night while I'm home, probably for an hour, at least a half hour. So yeah, that is all. Thank you so much. I will hit you up, Lewis. I believe I got your message. Yep, I got it right now. Helping you with the board. All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Hit me up in the Discord. Any questions, Twitter, of course. Peace out. Good stream. That was fun.